In this session, we'll be discussing the next topic, that is an RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, so just for your input, we are discussing module 2, section B, that is oscillators. Okay, so in this oscillators, yesterday I discussed fundamentals related to oscillators, and now we'll be discussing the next concept, that is RC phase shift oscillator. Okay. It's a very interesting topic. Okay. I know that you might have studied this topic during your basic electronics. So we'll just try to go one level ahead of that, so that you'll get a real good involvement as well as the interest towards this topic of RC phase shift oscillator. Okay. So now this RC phase shift oscillator is also called as a ladder oscillator. Is also called as ladder oscillator, depending upon how the circuit components are being arranged. Okay. Now I could just try to say you people, saying that as we know the fundamentals of oscillators, wherein we'll be having an amplifier circuit. So this is an amplifier, and this network, it's an feedback circuit. Okay, it's a feedback circuit. Output of the amplifier is given as input to the feedback, and output of feedback in turn is given as input to your amplifier. So your amplifier and your feedback is connected back to back. Okay. Now, in case of our feedback circuit, in case of our RC phase shift oscillator, the feedback circuit comprises of the components R and C. That's the name why it has given RC. Okay, so I'll be having R and C components into my feedback circuit. Okay, so this feedback circuit is going to produce a phase shift of 180 degree. Now, since my feedback circuit produces a phase shift of 180 degree, my amplifier, what I'm going to use will be an inverting configuration. Okay, if I'm using an op-amp, if I'm using a transistor or an FET, then default my amplifier will produce a phase shift of 180 degree. So it is satisfying one of the criteria for Barr-Hussein criteria for sustained oscillation, which states that the closed loop phase shift should be equal to 0 degree or 360 degree. 0 degree or 360 degree. Now, since when I add the total closed loop phase shift, 180 degree produced by amplifier and 180 degree produced by your feedback, the total sum will be 180 plus 180, that is 360 degree. Okay. Now let us put our efforts to understand how this feedback circuit is able to produce a phase shift of 180. Okay. So now I'll just use a simple RC circuit. I will use a simple RC circuit. Now let me say that I'll be having my component capacitance C over here. So this is my component C, okay, and I'll be having my resistance over here. Now this RC circuit is nothing but a simple series RC circuit, to be frankly speaking, okay. And here I'll be applying my input voltage. So this is my VI, okay. So this is a resistance R, and if I see what is this voltage drop, this is the voltage drop across the resistance R, which itself is my output voltage. Now, since I'm having some voltage at this input terminal, and since this is a closed loop, there will be some flow of current I in the circuit. The potential drop across the capacitance is called as VC, the voltage drop across the capacitor, and the resistance voltage drop, nothing but VR, is seen across this resistance. Okay, now we would like to study over here with respect to my phasor. Now, since uh, the common component to both the R and C is I, then it simply means to say I need to take my current vector as my reference vector. So this is my current vector which is taken as reference. So with respect to this vector, now I would like to draw the vector for my voltage drop across the resistance. Now this being the origin, now this point talks about VR. What is this VR? This VR is nothing but the voltage drop across a resistance. So if you want something in terms of a mathematical equation, then you can write VR is equals to I into R. I into R. It's a voltage drop across this resistance. Then I want to draw a vector for this the voltage drop across the capacitor. And how I can draw that? So with respect to this VR, I can show my VC over here. So with respect to the current, the voltage vector is going to lag. Okay, so you don't get confused, sir. We know that with respect to capacitor, the vector should be leading. It is leading only. So this is a voltage drop across the capacitor. With respect to voltage, current through the capacitor is leading. But you need to understand that you have taken I as reference, not V. Understanding? Since you have taken I as reference, voltage drop across capacitor is going to lag. Going to lag. Now, if I take a vector sum of the voltage drop across the resistance plus the voltage drop across the capacitance, so this gives me output or this gives me the voltage vector VI. This gives me the voltage vector VI, which is working with some angle phi, which is working with some angle phi. Now, somehow, if I want to know what is the voltage drop across this capacitance, the voltage drop across the capacitance VC is being given by I into XC, where XC is a reactance offered by this capacitance. If you want the equation for XC, we can simply say XC is being defined as 1 over 2 pi FC. X has been defined as 1 over 2 pi FC. Okay, so now from the first fundamentals of this basic RLC circuit, now if I want to write the equation for impedance, then how best you can write the equation for impedance? The equation for impedance is been given by impedance Z is equals to it is R minus J times that of XC. R minus J times that of XC. Now I can just take this equation ahead, writing this as R minus J times that of what is Xc? Xc is defined as 1 over 2 pi Fc. 1 over 2 pi Fc. Okay. Now if I want to write it in terms of its amplitude, I simply need to say, so since it's having a real part as well as imaginary part, when I convert this data from a Cartesian form from a Cartesian form to a polar form, I can simply write this equation as this impedance is having some magnitude z, okay. Along with that, it's having some phase angle, which is a negative phase angle. It's a negative phase angle phi. Okay, negative phase angle phi. Okay, so now if I want to identify what is the value of the current I which is going to flow in my circuit, the value of the current I which is going to flow in the circuit is been given by I is equals to VI divided by the impedance. So I am using simple Ohm's law. V is equals to I into R. So I want it for I. I is V by R. But I'm not only having R, along with the R, I'm having some amount of reactance. So that's the reason why I'm considering this impedance. So I can write this as mod of Z at an angle minus phi. At an angle minus phi. Now I can simply write this equation as VI divided by mod of Z at an angle plus phi. I'm taking this angle from denominator to numerator, since I'm moving this angle from denominator to numerator, the sign changes from negative to positive. So Vi by mod of Z will give me some fraction. It's going to give me some fraction because internally I know that mod of Z is nothing but square root of R square plus X square. I hope people still remember the fundamentals that you studied in case of a single phase circuits during your basic electrical engineering. Okay, so the same equations I'm using over here, and I also know that the phase angle phi is being given by tan inverse of xc by r, tan inverse of xc by r. So what's the point that you people need to understand over here? The point that you people need to understand over here is, if I see this equation for I, which is I is being given by Vi by mod of Z, so this being some fraction, okay, and I'm able to have some value of phi in my equation, where this phi is dependent on xc and r. It simply means to say, if I am able to choose a proper value for R and C, it means I can control what the angle that this particular circuit is going to offer me. I simply mean to say, if I'm having one input voltage, okay, if I'm having some input voltage, let me show in terms of its graphical form. So let me say that this is my input voltage Vi with respect to the time t, and input voltage what I'm going to apply, let it be with respect to the origin. So it simply means to say now I'll be having my signal somewhat like this. Okay. So now if I want to see what's the voltage that I'm going to get it after this RC circuit, let me say this is the node at which I am measuring input Vi, and this is a node where I am going to measure my output V naught. So it's after the value of C. Now I would like to simply say to people, so this is 90 degree. So maximum, I know that one component of C can produce a maximum phase shift of 90 degree. Okay, but since I'm not only having the component C, along with C, I'm having some amount of resistance. It simply means to say the angle cannot be equal to 90. It has to be less than 90. Now let me say that the same signal, the same input signal is being phase shifted by some angle phi. Now, only thing that I need to understand in case of my feedback circuit is that this angle phi, is simply controlled by two components, R and C. Is being simply controlled by R and C. If I'm able to design somehow with some mathematical equation a proper value for R and C, then I can get a desired value for phi. I can get desired value for phi. Okay, now I will be going reverse in case of my feedback circuit. So I will design this RC circuit. I will design this RC circuit such that one set of RC should produce a phase shift of 60 degree. When I make a replica of this, or in terms of three sets, 60 into 3 is nothing but 180 degree. Is nothing but 180 degree. So it simply means to say, in case of my RC feedback network, I will be having, so let me say this is, my first capacitor, then a resistor, then again I'll be having capacitor, then resistor, capacitor, and resistor. Okay, so this is my network. Okay, so now let me say that. So at this junction, wherein I am showing this as my input voltage, and this junction where I'm showing this as the output. Okay, I'm showing as the output. So a pair of RC circuit. So let me say this is the first pair, this is second pair, and this is my third pair. So each pair is having the ability of producing a phase shift of 60 degrees. That's how I'm going to design my value of R and C. So if you see my circuit, I'm not writing this as R1, R2 and R3. Instead, I'm writing this as R, and R. It simply means to say, whatever is the value for this resistance, same value should be assigned to the remaining two components. Whatever is the value for this C, same has to be the value for remaining two capacitors. Understanding? So each pair is going to give me a phase shift of 60 degrees. Okay, now when I add this totally, 60 plus 60, 120, 120 plus 60 is 180 degrees. So this is how the entire circuit is going to provide me a phase shift of 180 degree. Okay, is it clear to you? It simply means to say now, if I apply an input voltage like this, my output will be phase shifted by 180. Okay, if this is my input signal, then this will be the nature of my output. This will be the nature of my output. Okay, is it clear to you? So because of its structure, if you see this structure, if I keep just this paper like this, how are you able to see this circuit? How are you able to see this circuit? Yes, how is the appearance of this circuit? The appearance of the circuit is like a ladder. Is like a ladder, right? Since it's like a ladder, so this particular circuit, an oscillator, is also called as a ladder oscillator or ladder network. Called as ladder network or ladder oscillator. So this is an alias name for RC phase shift oscillator. The RC phase shift oscillator is also called as a ladder oscillator. Okay, is it clear to you? Yes. Any queries towards this topic what we discussed? If not, if no queries, then we can take our RC phase shift oscillator, including the amplifier topic in this. Okay. Okay. So now, since there are no queries, we'll go ahead. Okay. So now we will build. Now we will build an FET based, that's field effect transistor, FET based RC phase shift oscillator. Okay. So in a previous basic electronics, instead of FETs, people were using BJTs to build your oscillators. But as per the syllabus, now we have to use FET-based RC phase shift oscillators. Okay. So just a component is date changing, but the fundamentals will once again remain the same. Okay. So first I need to have my amplifier, FET based amplifier, okay, which we are studying it right from our module 1. Okay. So let me say that this is my gate. Okay. Okay. Now I'll be having this component. Okay. Then I can say that this is my drain, the gate, and the source. So for this drain, I'm biasing it with the help of a drain resistance, RD. The source terminal will be connected to ground via the source resistance, RS. Okay. And I'll be having a bypass capacitor. As CS. Okay. So here I'll be providing my input, and here I can fetch my output. So this is just my circuit, which is working like an amplifier. So this is the field effect transistor amplifier. So here I'm having an FET. Here I'm having an FET, which is going to work like an amplifier in my circuit. So I know that the value of this will be GM times that of RD. So this we have discussed it to very deep extent in our previous lectures. Okay. So now I'm just interested about my feedback network to be accompanied with this amplifier. Let me say that I'll be having a value of C over here, and this is my resistance. Once again, I'll be having capacitance, and this is a resistance. So this is a capacitor, and this is a resistor. Okay, so these terminals are connected to ground. These terminals are connected to ground. So I need to just connect my input and output from the circuit. So many students get confused, sir, whether first I'll be having a resistor or I'll be having a capacitor. I'll just make you people clear with respect to that topic. Okay, so if you see this circuit, so if you are getting a phase shift of some 60°, then it is because of whom? It is just because of this component C. Since it is standing in series with respect to your input voltage and output voltage, so it is able to add a phase shift of 60°. It's able to add a phase shift of 60°. Okay. So now the same circuit I'm able to replicate it over here, wherein I'm having a ladder circuit, wherein I'm having three such pairs of RC. So this is one pair, second pair, and the third pair. Okay, so if you see my input, wherever I'm giving my input, the first component I'm having is my C. If you see my output, I don't have a component C here because I want to measure the output. So when I want to measure the output, then that output has to be measured across the resistance. Okay, it has to be measured across the resistance. So now, when I want to use the circuit into my amplifier circuit, okay, when I want to use the circuit into my amplifier circuit, yes, it's back. So now you can see over here, output of your amplifier has to be given as an input to my feedback. So the first component that I should get over here is a C. So it simply means to say, now I need to just connect output of amplifier as input to this feedback. Input to this feedback. Then output of the feedback should be given as input to the gate. Should be given as input to the gate. Because here you're going to get your feedback voltage output. Feedback voltage output. So this feedback voltage output has to be fed as input to your FET. Okay, is this clear to you? Okay, so now with this circuit as a reference, a simple equation which we have already written it for the various configurations, we'll be using it. Okay, so let me say that each value of this will be equal to R and this will be equal to C. A common values we are going to design for this tank circuit. So this portion of the circuit, a dotted portion of the circuit, this circuit we call it as a feedback circuit, is also called as a tank circuit. Is also called as a tank circuit. I think I must have expressed this why it is called as a tank in previous lectures, wherein as you know that in case of a tank that you use it for your day-to-day life, you're going to store the water for your daily usage. Okay. Similarly, this component, the passive component, okay, this capacitor, it is going to store the energy in the form of electrostatic energy. Okay, so in the form of electrostatic charges. Okay, since this is an energy storing element, and since it stores the energy, so this portion of a circuit is called as a tank circuit. So normally in the feedback circuit, will be having components such as L, C, either individual form or in a pair of L and C. That's the reason why the feedback circuit is called as a tank circuit. Okay, and this portion of the circuit is well known to you people, wherein this portion of a circuit is nothing but your amplifier. This portion of a circuit is nothing but an amplifier. Okay, so now we'll write some few equations to this. Okay, wherein it allows us to make us understand that how this circuit, at what condition or at what contingencies, it is going to work like an oscillator. Okay, so we know that the gain of this amplifier, let me say a voltage gain, I'm interested in its magnitude. The value of this voltage gain is equals to Gm times that of Rd dash. Gm times that of Rd dash. So let me write this R capital. So Rd dash. Okay. Now this Rd dash, what is this Rd dash? This Rd dash is nothing but it is the effective resistance seen between the drain terminals. So I can just write over here this as Rd into Rd divided by Rd plus Rd. Now we may be feeling that, sir, how come we are able to write a small RD and a capital RD? What is this small RD and capital RD is going to indicate to you? Whether they both are same or they are having some different meaning in their existence. What would be your opinion if I throw a question at you saying that what is this RD and how is this different from this small RD? Yes? What would be your opinion? External resistance and internal resistance. Okay. Again, I want answers from the students attending this interaction. Yes, good Puja. So this RD is indicating your DC component and this RD is indicating your AC component. Okay, this RD is indicating your AC component. Now this RD dash is talking about the equivalent drain resistance. This RD dash is talking about the equivalent drain resistance when both the DC voltage and an AC voltage is applied to this resistance. Because you know that this RD, what I'm having over here, so I've written it with the capital letter RD. Okay, so this RD will come into picture when this DC voltage VDD is applied to the circuit. But whenever I'm going to apply the output of this particular feedback circuit, which is a sinusoidal signal, when this is applied as an input, at that time this is nowhere a DC resistance. So this will be your AC resistance. Now since this is your AC resistance over here, this capital RD now it will be seen as a small RD. So it's a reason why I'm able to compute this as RD dash, where RD dash is nothing but RD into RD divided by RD plus RD, because both the AC/DC component will be parallel form. It will be in parallel form. Okay. Now, what is that people need to remember over here is this is a very important point. Many students may arise this question when they start working on these circuits. Sir, what is happening to my input impedance of FET amplifier? I could simply say to people that the input impedance of this FET amplifier can be neglected until this frequency is low enough, until the frequency is low enough. Now, since we'll be operating for a very low frequencies, so I can ignore what is the value of your input impedance. So this input impedance will not create any difference, will not create any impact onto my circuit. Okay, so even we can neglect the capacitive impedances because we are operating on low frequencies. Because we are operating on low frequencies. Okay. Now, as I know that from the Barkhausen criteria, okay, as I know that since my amplifier produces a phase shift of 180 degree, since my amplifier produces a phase shift of 180 degree and a feedback circuit produces a phase shift of 180 degree, the total phase shift, total closed loop phase shift, okay, total closed loop phase shift will be equal to 360 degree, or I can say that 0 degree. Okay, so this one I can say constraint with respect to your Barth-Hussein criteria, it has been satisfied. But now, very important part that you people need to address over here is about what is happening to my closed loop gain. I would like to have some information about the closed loop gain, a closed loop gain. Okay. Now I know that this closed loop gain, that is AV into beta, the amplitude of this should be equal to GM into RD dash, or let me say capital RD dash divided by 29. Okay, divided by 29. Okay, now you may be asking that, sir, how this magic figure you are able to get this something as 29? How are you able to get this value? And I could simply say to you people that this RC circuit, whatever I'm having, this RC circuit, whatever I'm having, the input voltage and output voltage, when I take a transfer function of the system, so since you're studying a subject called as a control system, so you people know what is a transfer function. The transfer function has been defined as the ratio of Laplace transform of your output, Laplace transform of your input. So for this particular circuit, if I get a transfer function of the system and if I'm able to compute what is its value, so this network will have a value, that's nothing but the gain of the circuit, V out by V in, will be equal to 1 by 29. This will be equal to 1 by 29. I repeat it. I simply need to say over here. Now, if I take a gain of this circuit, gain of this circuit is nothing but output voltage to input voltage. So, if I take a ratio of my feedback, okay, if I take a ratio of my feedback, which is V out by V in, so I'm not going to say it as a voltage gain. It's an attenuation. So since it's an attenuation, I write it as a feedback factor beta. This gain is found to be as 1 by 29. Now since this gain is equals to 1 by 29, what has to be the gain of my amplifier? What has to be the gain of my amplifier? Please answer in the group chat. Good, very good. The gain of my amplifier has to be 29 because I simply need to say my A beta has to be equal to 1. Okay, my A beta has to be equal to 1. That's the reason why I'm getting this over here, because this AV is nothing but GM into RD dash. This beta is 1 by 29. Understanding? That's the reason how this AV into beta is GM into RD dash divided by 29. Now to satisfy the Barth-Hussein criteria, it says the AB beta has to be greater than that of 1. Okay, so I know what is my AB into beta. It is nothing but GM into RD dash divided by 29 should be greater than 1. So I will just send this term from my LHS to RHS, from denominator to numerator. So this implies that my GM into RD dash should be greater than 29. Should be greater than 29. Okay. Now it means that now this term GM into RD dash is greater than 29. It simply means the voltage gain, let me say AV, the voltage gain AV should be greater than that of GM times that of RD dash. Okay, this voltage gain is nothing but 29. So I can say that my AV should be greater than 29, and it also implies my beta is equals to 1 by 29. Okay, so if I use the simple equations of my circuitry, then I can simply say for FET based amplifier circuit, my FET based amplifier circuit, the oscillating frequency F naught is being given by 1 upon 2 pi RC into root 6. 1 upon 2 pi RC into root 6. So this is the equation that you people need to remember in order to solve some numericals related to your RC phase shift oscillator. And this is the equation which you're going to use it to design your RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, is it clear to you? Okay, if you don't have actual derivation for this equation, so you are having a brief interaction about why this has to be 29. Okay, root cause is since feedback value is 1 by 29, so this will be having a value slightly greater than 29. Let me say 29.5, 29.8, so that a sustained oscillations can be brought out. Okay, and whatever oscillations occur in a system, those oscillations will be having a frequency F naught, where a frequency F naught is being given by 1 upon 2 pi RC into root 6. Okay, so this is what the equation that you people need to remember in case of your RC phase shift oscillator or even a ladder oscillator. Okay, is that clear to you? Any queries? Any queries? Okay. So if it is clear, then I will just share one more link to you people. Okay. And we can go ahead with our next concept. That is nothing but LC oscillators. Okay. We'll go ahead with next topic, that is LC oscillators.